everyone, and welcome to the press conference after the match. Football Club Barcelona Lassa with the assessment of the coach, Sito Alonso, and then questions. Please, coach, the assessment. Good evening. Well, I think the analysis of the match is based on the different parts, especially in the second quarter, 5, 6 minutes before the end. I think Real Madrid found an advantage, especially in the one-on-one, that allow a bit of an advantage before the break, and with the last 2 good minutes with a good defense, we managed to reduce. But the third quarter, especially in the outer shots, we allowed maybe a lot, and they did quite well, especially because they were looking for it. On the second or third rotation, we were a bit slower than other occasions, and they managed to get those shots that gave them a comfortable advantage playing in Madrid, and with some bonus in a given moment, make it quite difficult for the comeback on the third quarter. But I think the team on the fourth quarter tried to get back in the game. They had 2 or 3 situations, especially to try and get it when we were 9 below. But after that, Madrid played a lot more comfortable, knowing that they were dominating the match. And then they played quite better, a lot better than us, especially in the fourth quarter. But especially in the third quarter, we're done one-on-one, and the other shots, I think that was made their advantage. So we'll start a set of questions. Please identify yourself and the company that you represent. Sito over here, Mapundera. I'd like to ask 2 things. First, the team is now 2 wins from being out of the qualifying 8. Is it worrisome? Well, it's obvious that being 2 winnings away, especially starting from 0, we were not thinking being in this situation. There were a number of matches that allow us not to be in that situation, but what we wanted is to keep on trusting in what we do and to bear in mind not the card, but what we need to do to play better, especially when we play away in the EuroLeague. I think that's something we need to improve, and especially against teams like all of the EuroLeague on this level. In some moment on the matches away, we disconnect. We don't have our public. We disconnect because of some mistakes we have, and not being playing home, we don't get back into the matches we do at home. That's something we need to improve in order to be competitive in this EuroLeague. We need to win away as well. Another question would be if since the season started until now, there's kind of lack of being a regular team. Did you see any growth for the Barca in that moment? I think there was a key moment for us, and the key moment was with the win we managed here in the Liga Endesa, and after the trip to Bros. That the team had quite a shock because of winning of so many points, and then the growth coming back so hard. But then playing with Fenerbahce, CSKA, Real Madrid, not winning, has some irregularity, and that's kind of more difficult to get out of it. I'm convinced we're going to achieve it, and what we need to do is try not to forget what we do correctly to get the feelings back when we play at home. We're playing with Gran Canaria with our next match, and we need to do it together and to keep on working on our own path. Obviously, with the difficulty, it has to be, as you say, below of the card, although for me the important thing is to be at the end amongst the 8 first ones. Victor Lavallini, Televisión de Catalunya. You've mentioned that Real Madrid have an advantage on the one-on-one. I would like to know the score of the mistakes from your team, your assessment, and also ask you about Tavares. Both on the first and the third quarter, the giant for Cape Verde conditioned the game a lot. I think it's a situation 3 or 4 minutes away when they took advantage of their strength to get on the one-on-one with our small players. They got advantage in a given moment. They did not have the shot from Tompkins from the outside. But then the team recovered. Tavares, I think, played a very good match. I think he took advantage of how high he is. But that does not mean that on the following occasions, Kevin or our insiders will have not make it easier, but to compete against him quite on an equal basis. But not just him. Real Madrid group defense did quite well. Any further questions? Jesus Arteaga from Babel. I would like to ask, When you get Navarro for the first time, you're 40-31, 9 below, and you finish the second quarter and the first half on 0-7. Why? If he's the player that has the highest ranking, why is he not starting from the beginning on the third quarter, knowing that it's important, especially in such an equal match? Because we value a lot on Juan Carlos through the bonus, and Juan Carlos can generate advantage situations which are quite important through that bonus. And when he comes out, the team has bonus, go to the free throws, and he has the possibility of finding all that. I think it's true that we didn't think with the bet of protecting order on the first 2 or 3 minutes of the score, because I think that's why we made a mistake, and it went all the way to 10 in a couple of minutes. And then the situation just went all the way downhill. Downhill for Real Madrid, uphill for us. But to assess a bit Juan Carlos' work is to devalue everybody else's work, and I think it's not fair. I know Juan Carlos is playing quite well in the last few matches. Okay, thank you.
You to breathe me. Let me be your air. Let me roam your body freely. No inhibition, no fear. How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? What devotion are you? How deep is your love? Is it like Nirvana? Hit me harder. Deep is your love? How deep is your love? Open up my eyes and tell me who I am. Let me in on all your secrets. No inhibition. No sin. How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? What devotion are you? How deep is your love? Is it like Nirvana? Hit me harder again. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? Is it like the ocean? How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love?
So tell me how deep is your love, can it go deep? So tell me how deep is your love, can it go deeper? So tell me how deep is your love, can it
How deep is your love?
So tell me how deep is your love, can it
How deep is your love?
How deep is your love, can it go deep?
How deep is your love? How deep is your love? How deep is your love?
How deep is your love? Can it go deeper? So tell me how deep is your love? Can it
How deep is your love?
tell me how deep is your love? Can it go deeper? So tell me how deep is your love? Can it go deeper?
Regenerate the nation, regenerate the nation, regenerate the nation, regenerate the nation, regenerate the nation. Is this generation? We revert. Is this generation? We revert. Is this generation? We revert. 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 North, south, east, west, everybody there. Water, 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 where me water there. Need to breathe, this bubble needs some air.
Good evening again. We have a press conference after the match. First, the assessment from the coach and first questions for Pablo Lasso. Good evening. First, to congratulate my team for the win. I think, in general, we had quite a solid match. The feeling that we were quite serious in the defense and we didn't give them many shots that were easy. We were able to contain the one-on-one. We could rebound and we were solid. From the defensive point of view, I would say for nearly the 40 minutes, I think that gave us a lot of trust in the game, the feeling that our defense were holding us. Offensively, I think we moved the ball quite well. We had quite many open shots from good situations and good readings. I don't think it was a brilliant match, but we knew that against a team like Barcelona, we had to be solid and to be constant for all the 40 minutes. Happy because we won, the team, the work of the guys, and that's it. Think that before Christmas we have 3 very difficult matches: Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday next week. Questions, as usual, identify yourself. Pablo, congratulations. Danny Fernandez for Real Madrid TV. Further to just the sports, how do you feel with this win? Well, like all wins, it feels better than defeats. That's nothing new, I'm sure. You were asking a lot on the previous yesterday about the classic. At the end of the day, it's a match and a 30 matches set, but of course the classic is a special match. I think in that sense we had a very good approach. I think the team has a very good walking line. And no matter the result, I have the feeling that everyone was able to contribute with things in the match. In that sense, I'm quite proud of my players because they proved to be that they are a team. And that says volumes of them. Of course, I'm happy because we like to win. Let's enjoy today because we have to work tomorrow. Hello, Pablo. Millán Cámara from El Español. Is this match the clear evidence that with an attitude you have a reward at the end? Well, I don't think it's just attitude that makes you win, but to have an identity. In that sense, the guys know they're playing for a great team and that they need to give their best all the time. I think that's something that is kind of non-negotiable. My team proved that. We had and we have in difficult moments throughout the season, every year. This year even worse because of problem of injuries. Don't have to go over it, you know about it. But the team did not stop working and believing. That's something to be proud of as a coach, and as I always say. the easy thing is with balls, with cojones, to play with cojones. And that's good, but just with balls you won't win. Jorge Martinez from Bernabeu.com. With those three matches that you said that are quite complex, after today's win, is it important to maintain the idea you always say that not even a week ago Real Madrid was the worst team and now they're unstoppable? So is it important to maintain the idea that it's a long season? Well, I never changed that. No, I don't think my team did either. We always had a feet on the ground for the good things and the bad things, and that's what I tried to tell the guys. I think the team has a lot of things to improve. I told you not so long ago that we were not having our greatest match. We had some shots we were alone that we missed, some missing balls that were quite silly, and that's the life of the coach. You always want your team to perform better tomorrow. Regarding today, I'm very proud on how we were able to follow the plan for the match. We know this does not stop. This is December. There's a lot of work ahead of us, and as you were saying quite correctly, before the small Christmas break, we have 3 difficult matches with Obradorio, Valencia, and Thursday's match. So if we want to keep on being competitive, we have to keep on being humble, working and improving. Hello, Pablo, Diego Claudio from El Club de Deporte. The players were quite plucked from the beginning, apart from the opponent and the environment from the Palacio, which was amazing tonight as well. Were they really angry to win today after those bad results in the EuroLeague, with painful defeats in Greece, with a very good first half and then the matches going away and Pireo just forcing the extension by losing? You wanted to win like this, saying that in Liga you were having the fruits, but not in the EuroLeague, and with work, as you've said before, you achieved that. Well, yeah, within a regular Liga of 30, it's easy to say that a match is not important and there are too many of them, but I ran away from that. It's as important the first one than the third one, and although it doesn't sound very good to say that, I have to think, what day is it today? It's the 12th match day, so we have still 18 match days. We had 12, we had good things, we had bad things, but except for one day, I think my team was quite competitive throughout the season. I'm not killing myself because of a bad day, but I'm not proud for the good day. We have to maintain a line of action that has to keep on improving, and in that sense, it's to something that you've mentioned, which is that the team were quite focused from minute one, because we knew that if we wanted to win this match, we had to be focused for the 40 minutes, because they're a great team with great players and able players that can break the match at any given moment. I know that you don't like to talk about personal, but I would like to ask about Doncic, that you say he had a fever yesterday, and about that shot, how, if you're not expecting that, or how do you take it from the bench as a coach? That shot at the end is just as a 3-pointer from Tompkins, and he can get that. Luka got that shot. Other times we got it. Rudy had one, which I think it was at the end of the first quarter, that was close from quite far away. So no matter how bright they are, I take more the work, and right now I don't remember top of my head, but I think my first reaction to Luka's 3-pointer was to go and say something to another player. Tompkins, right? And that's it. Basketball has those things. Of course, it's important to score, and if you score all the shots, you're going to win. But you have to defend, you have to rebound, you have to do many things so you play properly, to play basketball properly and not just scoring. Luca has that feeling that he controls the game, and I think Fabian was telling a short story that this morning they were betting something and Fabian won, and they bet something and Fabian gave him the money back. So sometimes it's just luck, but he has the trust and he knows that he can throw that and score. Honestly, we don't really prepare that play a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. Last two questions. Yeah, we could say, yeah, it was a great match from the coach, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Carlos Sanchez from Onda Madrid. To ask about the match, the play, you talk as a coach, and it's like you don't remove your coach ID, not even with this shots. So tonight at home or tomorrow, are you just gonna smile to say, "Whoa, what a shot"? Yeah, because my kid is gonna tell me because that's what he likes. That's normal. He's 11 years old. He's gonna say, "Have you seen Lucas score?" And of course, and on the highlights, I'm sure that everywhere it's gonna be Lucas shot. That's normal. But as a coach, as I was saying, my obligation is to pay attention not just in the 2 seconds that the ball fly and then score, but nearly all the 40 minutes. Many things happened, and that's what actually made us win the match. Last question here to your left. Congratulations on the win. The question I wanted to ask for weeks and I couldn't. So do you understand what the Barca had last year because of the injuries you had? Well, no, I don't compare myself with other teams. I'm a Real Madrid coach, and I don't think about what happens with other teams. There's a thought that probably goes beyond Real Madrid and Barcelona regarding many players that are having long injuries, missing important matches. And I don't think it's the moment to talk about it, but it's true that Barcelona last year had a nefarious season, and that's for the coach, and I mention it quite often, is the worst, because if you twist an ankle like Faco when you're going in and did something do something wrong, or my physiotherapist did something wrong? No, nothing at all. He had the best treatment, but these are things that happen and you just need to accept them. It cannot be neither an excuse, or it's just things that happen in basketball, like Lucas shot, and these are things that happen in basketball and you just need to accept them. I always say that the worst things for a coach is injuries, and the fact that Barcelona had many of these last season, and that's bad for the coach, but that's it. You have to live with it and you have to continue working. In that sense, I'm quite proud of my team and how my team is responding to the problems we have, not this year, because every year you have different things. Okay, good night, thank you.